Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm reviewing Barrell's Amburana finished bourbon. Is it something you should go buy? Stay tuned to find out. Welcome back to the Bourbon Retriever, where I go in the wild, hunt bourbon, and bring it back for you. Today we are looking at Barrell's new product. It is their take on Amburana finish. Now this is something that's just sweeping the bourbon landscape. I feel like almost every distillery is doing some type of Amburana finishing, but today we're going to find out if Barrell's version is worth buying. So the specs on this bottle has a 5-year age statement, but it has blends that are much higher. It has a 5-year, 6-year, 7, and 10-year-old juice. The blends are coming from Indiana and Kentucky. I am happy there's no Tennessee juice in here, so that means there's no Dickel, which I am personally not a big fan of. And the derivative mash bill is 75% corn, 21% rye, and 4% malted barley. Barrell did make 14,400 bottles according to the label on the back. So while that is a limited production, Barrell has a pretty wide distribution, so many of you out there hopefully can find this on the shelf. Some Amburana finishes like the Rio has been very, very hard to get. Has a lot of great reviews, and they didn't make many of them. Now, one interesting thing about this blend is the way they talk about it on the back, it makes it sound like they first took 2 blends and then put those in an Amburana finished cask. And then afterwards, they added additional bourbon to it that was not finished in Amburana cask. My biggest gripe with Amburana finished bourbons is the Amburana is just super overpowering. It's over the top. All you get is cinnamon. So I'm hopeful with this bottle, since they've added other barrels into it, it helps dilute the Amburana down while you still get it. It's not overpowering the drink. Another trend I'm hoping to see with Barrell products going forward, when they first came into market in Virginia, they were about $100. That was a little steep and hard to justify giving the age statements. But lately the prices have been dropping, and I can find them in my area for between $70 to $80. For $70, I think that is a much better price point and makes them much more competitive with other bourbons on the market. So let's pop this and see what it's like. All right, first the nose. So on the nose, you definitely get the Amburana notes. If you've had Amburana, you know what I'm talking about. It is basically Cinnamon Toast Crunch. You know that cereal you had as a kid? Basically that to a T. But it's not overpowering. It's much more minimal compared to other Amburana products I've had. And there's a good amount of sugar on the nose. I'm trying to pinpoint the sugar. It's not necessarily a honey, maybe more of a confectionery syrup, but not too artificial. It definitely isn't a natural syrup though, but it's not over the top. Some of the bourbon notes are coming through. I'm not getting that much oak, but I'm getting a little bit of like maybe a maple wood. I think I got the perfect analogy. It's basically cinnamon toast bread with some maple syrup drizzled on top. I think that's exactly what this is. All right, onto the palate. All right, that is very good. The tip of the tongue is where you first get that cinnamon. It transitions to a nice sweetness. Not as much confectionery sugar. I'm getting more of a natural, I think maple sugar, what I said earlier, is more of what I'm getting. The mid palates, when you get more of your traditional bourbon notes, you get that very minimal oak. It's a sweet oak. Not super present, but it's there. The cinnamon transitions into a little bit of a spice, mid palate and late palate. And that is a very good finish. 116 proof. It definitely drinks like that. It's not overpowering though, but it definitely lingers and gives you a nice Kentucky hug. So one thing I love about this drink is the Cinnamon Toast Crunch that you get typical on Amburana finished products. It's there. It's the most prominent note in the drink, but it's not overpowering. You get it at the beginning of the drink, and then it does linger throughout the drink. It's just to maybe a secondary note throughout the product. And then throughout the drink, as it shifts in the back, other notes come forward, and it makes it a very balanced drink. Yeah, that is a very good drink. I think this would be a perfect drink for maybe brunch, because it kind of has that cereal note, not grainy cereal note that you might say in some useful bourbons. When I say cereal note, I'm just thinking of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, which reminds me of breakfast in the morning. So I think this would be a great brunch drink. Or maybe after dinner, this could be a dessert pour. I know some people do dessert liqueurs, and I think this would be a perfect after dinner drink. Now, for those of you out there that haven't had Amburana, I think this would be a good bottle to dip your toe in the water and learn what Amburana adds to a bourbon. If you're traditionally a person who doesn't like finished products, you like the more traditional bourbon notes, the oak, the vanilla, the caramel, I maybe say do a bar pour first. That'll probably save you a little money in case you don't like it. But if you don't see it at a local bar and you are a little curious, I think this would be a perfect transition for someone who's looking to get into Amburana finished products. Because I have to give my hands to the blenders at Barrell. They probably tasted it when it first came out, and the Amburana was, I had to guess, very overpowering, and they're trying to figure out ways to make it a more balanced drink, and that's where they came up with the extra barrels to help the Amburana get a little more diluted and make it just a better balanced drink. Another thing I'll say is I don't know if they'll make this again. This doesn't follow under some of their core releases like the Seagrass or the Dovetail. This is under their cask finishing series. So this may be a one and done. On the front it does say batch 1, so fingers crossed they do it again. But since it's not in a core release, it's not guaranteed they'll make it again. So final analysis, if you see this on the shelf for $80, I would say pick it up. Considering they may not make it again, I think it is probably one of the best Amburana finished bourbons out there. And if you don't have an Amburana finished bourbon on your shelf, I think this fits a perfect spot on your shelf. It's very unique, very different than many other bourbons you may have, and it's just all around a great pour. And for those of you that aren't into finished bourbons, maybe do a bar pour of this just to see if you enjoy it. And overall, I am very happy that I purchased it. If you're enjoying this content, hit that subscribe button. And before you leave, check out this video or this one. And until next time, cheers.